Why was mine so small? That's not a dick joke. What's so bad about the movie? It's basically 2 movies crammed into one. They should have made it like 4 hours long. I can't disagree from my favorite critics. They all hated it, so I have to hate it too. Well, no. It's called an opinion. Even though you hate The Last Jedi, doesn't mean that you have to hate this one. In my opinion, The Last Jedi was actually better than this one, but this one was also good. And just because your favorite critic hated it, doesn't mean you have to share the same opinion as them. My favorite critics, I disagree with a lot of them on some movies, especially this one. No. Let's just duel to figure this all out. Shit. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is the newest Star Wars film, once again, insanely polarizing. People hate it, people call it super disappointing, and people also love it or really like it. And I fall into the category that really likes it. I don't love the film, and I definitely don't think it's a bad film. People really have been hating on this film, and a lot of that I think is due to the critics. They go in and some of them were like, oh, I can't disagree with them. I made a little thing in the intro, you would have saw it. But when I looked at the score, and I think it was originally 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, I expected to be disappointed. And when I came out of the film, I really liked it. There are so many things that I really enjoyed. I feel like it may feature the best scene in any of the sequel trilogy. It's called, I'll just say it's the Be With Me scene in the 3rd act. I don't want to say anything more, but I feel like that scene is just amazing. But this is not a perfect film at all. Definitely not. So I'm going to talk about my flaws first. A common complaint I've heard is that the film feels very rushed. And I don't exactly agree with that. I agree with parts of that. I feel like some scenes feel rushed. Especially this one scene, and it's kind of the opening scene. There's like this character goes on kind of a rampage, and then they meet up with another character, and the scene where they meet up with another character, there's lots of flashing lights. That scene felt very rushed. There's lots of scenes in this that kind of feel like they could have added more onto them, or they were a bit cut short, or lines, they were just like, okay, now we gotta go here. Which I was like, okay, this film is only 2 hours and 2 minutes, so I feel like they could have maybe kept some of those scenes, made them a bit longer, because it really did feel like they just went, yeah, they want to enjoy that, select and delete. It felt like that for a lot of it. I feel like they could have stretched this out to maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. For it to feel like 2 films crammed into one, I think no. And there are some things that they do that feel very unexplained, especially one at the end. I don't think I'll make a spoiler video, but if you want to talk to me about it, DM me on Instagram and we can have a conversation. There's something that happens at the end which I was like, oh, okay, oh, where something happens to a character and then, I can't say it, but there's something big that happens to a certain character. And then I was like, wait, was it because of this or because of this? And Rey, as I've heard lots, is very overpowered in this, and I will agree, but some of it makes sense with some of the information we learn about her. There's one scene in particular which I actually liked, but it kind of just, I was like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. And there are things where she barely takes any damage in the film, which, yeah, that's true. And my last flaw with it is that there's a twist about halfway through, somewhere around there, I don't know exactly, where a certain character reveals themselves to be something, and another character has a response to it. It's, what? And I kind of felt like that character too. I was like, that came out of nowhere, especially from the last films. For that to happen, I was like, that doesn't always make sense. That's a bit weird. So those are my main flaws with it. I can't really go into spoilers with it, but if you want to talk spoilers, DM me on Instagram. Now we're gonna go into my positives. I really liked it. As I said, it's not perfect, but there are some scenes that I think are just amazing. The lightsaber battles are awesome. There's one in particular on top of, I don't really know what it is, but there's a big like ocean going and rain falling on them, and it looks amazing, and just the action overall is very good, and the acting, of course, is amazing, especially from Adam Driver. Him as Kylo Ren is such good casting. He's one of my favorite villains of the 2010s, I think, and he's a great Star Wars character, in my top 10 easily. And then Daisy Ridley's also very good, John Boyega's great, and Oscar Isaac as Poe. Poe is probably my favorite. I don't think he's the best, but he's probably my favorite out of the new characters. And yeah, I really love his character. He has some amazing lines in this that were really funny. C-3PO's character in this is actually really cool. He has some really great scenes, and I'm not gonna lie, he actually goes through some stuff, and the actual like voice acting behind him is very good. And Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. That was sad when I first heard that. Things they do with her in this, you gotta praise them. They don't have footage of her from now, so apparently they used leftover footage from, I think, The Force Awakens, maybe a bit from The Last Jedi in this, and it's all done super well. The film also looks very good. There's a scene which, the gif of it on Twitter is, I'll just say, two lightsabers breaking a certain thing. That scene is very trippy, where they're going through two locations but they're also fighting, and there's this one shot where it pans around and you first see it in the one character's location and it goes to the other all in one shot, and I thought that was really cool. The writing, as I said, it's very funny. This newer trilogy has some very funny lines, especially The Force Awakens. That film is hilarious, and I think I'm not gonna make this review super long, but there's one scene which was very touching. I don't want to say anything about who's in it or any of that or where it takes place, but it surprised me a lot, but I thought it was a great scene. And as you know, if you haven't seen any of the trailers or the poster, I guess, this isn't a spoiler because it's on there, it was announced, but the Emperor is back in the film, and I don't think he was great in it, but I think he was good. He's kind of, actually I can't say anything about what he's like, but he's in it. I think he was good. He wasn't great, but he had some really cool scenes. He did some badass stuff in this. Oof. Tell me what you thought of the film, because I know lots of people will not like this film. And, you know, maybe a part of me liking it a lot is because I was expected to be disappointed, and I really wasn't. It's not one of my top favorite films. Overall, I really did enjoy the film. I don't think it's a great Star Wars film, but it's not a bad film either. Some people have been trashing on this for just stupid reasons, I guess, and I really liked it. I know a lot of you will not agree with me, but I'm gonna give Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker a B+. I'm gonna do a Star Wars ranking in the next few days. I'm also gonna have a review for Disney Plus's Noel, and one of my favorite Christmas films. If you don't count Die Hard, this is my favorite Christmas film ever, and I won't say what it is until that review is up, but thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. I don't have a lightsaber in my room. Over and out.